In the last clip, we discussed the fact that you are smart and your brain is a learning machine. Just very quickly, a lot of students say to me, well, why did I struggle so much in school then? What's the deal with that? So let me just tell you briefly why you struggled in school. Firstly, it had nothing to do with you being smart or not smart. It's all about the way that school is structured and the way that you interact with that structure. Let me just give you an example using maths. Now, understanding maths is like a ladder with different rungs in it. And the way that it works is that each rung is like understanding something. And so you need to be able to understand this bit, to be able to understand this bit, to be able to understand the next bit. Rungs on a ladder. So the thing is maybe you had a rung that you missed. And if you miss a rung, then you struggle to understand the next bit. You're always behind, and then you slowly just slip behind. How do children, or how might you have missed a rung? Really simple. You might have had a week away from school where you were sick. And during that week, the teacher was giving an important piece of information that would have made you go, oh, I get it. And so when you came back to school, that rung was missing and you struggled to get to the next bit. Perhaps you moved schools. And when you got to the new school, the curriculum was different and they were in a different place in the curriculum, so you missed pivotal rungs. Maybe you like talking to your friends. You're chatting away to your friends, you're just talking too much, and you missed that moment when you were going to understand something from the teacher. You just missed it, and that was a rung that you missed. Imagine your eyesight wasn't so good, and when you're looking at the board, you couldn't see all the things you needed to. Rung missing. And maybe you couldn't hear properly. Rung missing. And maybe your home life was so chaotic that as a child you were actually stressed, under a state of stress, but as children we don't recognize that's what's happening. That's a rung missing. So there are a million reasons why you might have missed a pivotal moment of understanding, a rung, and then not being able to get to the next bit. And what happens is when you miss these rungs, you tend to notice over time, you can go for a while okay, but what tends to happen is you notice that the other children are starting to get it. Well, most of the other children are starting to understand it, but you're not. So of course you begin to think, man, I'm not as smart as these other children, and then there's no joy in it for you. You don't enjoy it because you're not good at it, so you avoid it or you put in less effort, and you find other things that you want to do. And usually that's what happens after years and years and years of this in school. You get people, maybe this is you, who feel kind of defeated by school, like you never got out of it what you were meant to. You know, you arrived at the end of your school years having not learnt what you think you should have learnt. It's not your fault. It's nothing to do with being smart or not smart. It's about the system and those rungs. You're smart. Maybe you're even smarter than those kids in that class. Let's move on to the next bit and look at how we can put some of this into practice.